one of the questions people ask me first when they sit down with me is, what happens if I don't have a will? Because most people, I think, don't have wills. They think about it when they have kids, they think about it when they buy a house. But apart from those triggers, a lot of the time people just don't have anything in place. So the first thing I tell people is, your will is a way for you to make it easier for your family or your friends to deal with what they have to deal with after you die. The first decision you make in your will is who's in charge. So that person's called an executor. You might hear the term estate trustee as well. But that person's going to be in charge of dealing with all of the gifts that you've made, of dealing with your relatives, your family, any trust that you might make for people that are minors or people that are disabled, and basically just making the whole thing work. So if you don't have a will, somebody has to apply and figure that out on their own. So the first thing you can do to make things easier is tell people who's in charge. The next thing you do in a will is you say what happens with all your property when you're gone. So if you don't have a will, there are rules in Ontario that say, here's what happens with your property. First question is, do you have a spouse? If you have a legally married spouse, that person's entitled to the first share of your estate. Then you ask, do you have any kids? If you have kids and a spouse, there's a calculation on which way they share things, but they're all included. If you don't have either of those, then you start going down this funny chain of relatives. You go to your parents, your siblings, your nieces and nephews, and on down this chain that is just established in Ontario as the law. Most people would want something else with their property because they have relationships that they know, they trust people, they know people's needs and what they want to do with their property.